So let me start out by saying it was an honor and a privilege to make a helipad on Porcelina. Now you all know Ellie Jelly. Porcelina is her baby. Most of the helipads that I've built have been on my own island, Drop Air, but she was very kind to slot out this section next to her dam build, and I immediately got started. I didn't want to waste any time, so what I wanted to do, with her permission of course, was to move this helipad back a little bit. We had some frillies here. I wanted to give them a space to roam around, so I let them just kind of do their thing, and off they go. Put that there, all is good. So first things first, gotta flatten out this area, do a lot of cleanup. You know, it's really nice that we have power tools in Dinkum to kind of make this easier. But I didn't want to do too much because it's a really nice area, but I wanted to kind of clear this area out and give me lots of room to build, to work. So next thing is, of course, once you flatten out the area, you gotta get rid of all of the artifacts that kind of get left behind. And naturally, when you're doing this, it's so important when you're doing a build to make sure that you have storage. As I clean this stuff up, I want to start building a outer border, and pockets are full. it's the name of the game. So I go back to work and I start clearing out the area and start working on this outer border. It's pretty funny though, as I was doing that, I noticed that this echidna was bouncing around to the beat. Ellie also was very kind to lend me this advanced dirt printer so I could build out this outer border. Now for this particular one, I wanted to build this out and elevate this slightly. So I start carving out like a one tile path to get the shape right, and then I go back over it and raise it up too. Having storage nearby and a place to charge your tools, your power tools, is so crucial, because you're going to be, if you're going into it with empty pockets, it's going to be okay. But here I'm doing a little bit of a mulligan. I wanted to make this a little bit bigger because I noticed that it wasn't going to be square. When you're doing a helipad, the inner H, if you will, is a 5x5 square, so I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of room. I like to orient my H's north to south, and I'm trying out this cobblestone here. Let's see how it looks. That's okay. I'm gonna swap out some things. I like the mushroom path for high visibility, but I decided to move some things around. Now when you're using a shovel, I'm a big believer, like whenever I have a shovel full of dirt, I try to put it back in a place that would look natural. But I decided to go with the mushroom path and fill in the rest with the cobblestone. And then I noticed, oh crap, we're not centered vertically. Don't hate, iterate, am I right? So I fill in the rest of the area. Everything looks good. It's aligned. Now, for this particular one, Ellie popped by, gave me some tools. He's awesome. I realized that the spacing vertically wasn't even. It was centered, but it needed to be a little bit bigger. So I worked to expand that. As you're building, it's perfectly normal to look at things from different angles, think about it, go back again. Pockets are full again of stuff, drop it off, go back, start again. So here I am just evening out the vertical spacing from the north and the south of the H and filling it in with the cobblestone. Everything looks good. All right, back to work. Ellie's giving me some moral support there. So sweet. I love the mossy brick path, especially when it comes to representing anything that touches water. So I fill this out and just kind of see how it looks to start out with. Looking good so far. And I realize I'm not going to be using this rope fence that we put down, so I'll just go ahead and I take that up. Not sure what I'll do in the front here, but we'll see. Then I realize, this is kind of tall. I want to make this look like her dam build. So I do a lot of thinking. Now, one of the things I love to do in all of my helipad builds in some degree is to put these brackets around it. I feel like it draws your eye to the center, and the H, of course, is going to be the highest visibility. Now, I know I wanted to use the water beds, and I had kind of an idea, so I spaced these out evenly. And it's a lot of fun when you're putting these things down. I had to hop like a bunny and make sure that they're evenly spaced. I'm like, oh, cool. They're all nice and even. It's aligned. Now, when you're building a helipad, it's my opinion to kind of build it in all lighting because you want it to be equally visible in the nighttime and the daytime. I also love the look of the water beds, so I'm kind of digging a trough down around this helipad. That way there's a place for the water beds to flow. So if you put water beds like right below it, it'll have that border around it. I'm not a big fan of the border. So now you can really see this is starting to take shape, and it's really cool. We're racing against the clock right now, but I realize now that I'm raising this up even more, I needed to have a way to walk up to it. And on her dam build, there's this really cool step system that she does, kind of like a, you know, graduated platforms. I go and I fill in all of the mushroom path here and then add the water beds. So you can kind of see as I'm putting them down, the idea at the beginning was to have a place, stagger them all around, and I don't need those there. Inevitably, I'm like, oh man, ran out of water beds, running out of all kinds of supplies. But you know what, like when you're going into a build, like if you know exactly what you're doing, which is rare to have, you know, to know exactly what you need for a build, that can be a little challenging. So it's back to work. And you know what, it's a rainy day. Some people like to sleep through it, not me. I can work through it. It's kind of atmospheric in a way, and it's very moody too. So I'm expanding this walkway here, and it's kind of it's very interesting the way that you have to work with steps. And I'm trying to think about, you know, should I save these trees? Should I get rid of them? The step down into the helipad, I don't want it to be as graduated as the stepway into it, so it'll be a little bit of a steeper drop, and that's okay. Now on her dam, there's a lot of cement, so I wanted to have this outward border cement and the walkway cement, and also the steps into it. So we go ahead and put these steps down, have our nice little walkway starting out. Then I'm like, you know what? One stair. That's kind of weird, especially with that sign there. We'll come back to it. But I love using the iron cement fence, and that's what was incorporated on her dam build too, so I grabbed that just in case. Fill in the rest of the water beds. Kind of thinking about, how should I do this outward border? Don't need that sign there anymore. So here, I'm gonna start carving out this outward border. Now the trick with this is that like where the mossy brick is where a water bed's gonna go. And I wanna raise this up because, like I mentioned before, I don't want to have the borders on the water beds. So I elevate that there, and I like on all of my helipad builds in some degree to have some sort of a corner to it. So I'm gonna put these water beds back down, and then I decide to go ahead and raise this corner up. That way there's not a wall on the other side of the water beds. So we put this mossy brick down. A wild Ellie appears with more supplies, giving me some coffee, very sweet. And we're back to work. Again, and as you're doing your builds, you start to get a feel for what you want. So now I know a little bit more about what I'm gonna do. I can easily replicate that on the other side. And I'm like, uh-oh. Then again, I'm human. Sometimes I forget, what was I doing again? So I'm putting down the mossy brick, the water beds, filling in the gaps, realizing, yes, water beds that go here. Stagger this wall, put down the water beds, rinse and repeat. Okay, do you actually know what you're doing, commit? I think it's a lot of fun. This is the first video of this kind. Y'all can see exactly how I build this helipad. And I may do more of these in the future, but just kind of taking a little survey. I'm gonna add some outward fencing. I love this fence. It's so, I don't know, it's so bold, the iron and cement fence. Now I'm also kind of I'm a little opinionated about fencing because there's not really a good gate for it. And I also like the lighting on the outside too. Lighting is really crucial, even though you have the mushroom path to have a way to illuminate, and just like it's a mood. So I wanted to have the little bit of a border on the outside of this walkway and kind of stagger it a little bit differently than the walkway itself. So it's the same dimensions, but I'm gonna come down and I'm like, these trees. I know many of you don't really, you like to keep the trees, and I'm like, oh man, should I, shouldn't I? I'm gonna try this pattern stone. I ran out. I'm gonna put the cement back. This is kind of a personal opinion of mine. When you have a finite supply of things, it can help guide your decision. Now I could easily craft some more or even dev command some more in, but I don't personally use dev commands. So I realized here that, you know, all that pattern stone, it's like, it was a little bit much, but I like using it as an accent. So kind of doing a little bit of exploring around the area, seeing how things are. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, it's lightning, and I heard a thunder egg. So I'm like, where the hell could it be? Try to find it. Yeah, I looked everywhere, all along the dam. Now there's one that was there originally, and I kept thinking that was it, but no, it wasn't. Couldn't find it, no matter how hard I tried. Ellie came over and even tried to help me find it. Yeah, all right, back to work. But the cobblestone is interesting because it has that shape to it, and you can't really use it as like a complete thing. So I decided to try it as the walkway. Still, those trees, I'm like, okay. Think about it some more. I'm looking for some different path, and I was trying to think, you know, if there might have been some laying around. But as always, Ellie to the rescue for another supply drop. I put down this fencing here. I like the cement fence just because it's a little bit lower. I decided to change my mind about these lights. I don't necessarily like to have lights too close to the helipad, just because if you're landing, you slide a little bit, you can kind of run into them, and that's a little bit, that can be challenging. Ellie with another supply drop. So I'm gonna clear out this grass because I don't want it to be just dirt. Easy way to do that is to lay down path and to take it back up again. You can also do that with a shovel. So now I fill in the brick on the sides. I'm liking the way that looks. I'm trying out this cement fencing on the sides too, but I decided to use it, I believe I decided to use it as an accent. So I'm like trying it out different levels. So now I just kind of use them as poles on the side. I feel like that looks pretty good. You'll find with myself and many other content creators, we do a lot of iterating. Dinkum very much is a game of inventory management. So I decided ultimately, the trees, they're not gonna work exactly the way that I wanted them to. So I take them down, and then I'm like, okay, well maybe I can do something fun with the path. I like to mix things up a little bit, so I go with a checker pattern. And since we're using brick here, I'm like, cobblestone? No, that's not gonna work. I'll use the brick. Cool. Now, I know I'm gonna need some steps. How am I gonna make this, I'm gonna keep some continuity. Somewhat. So I mix it up a little bit, and I think that looks pretty cool. So this area, like in front, I want it to be sort of a park. And with every helipad build, if I'm building on someone else's island, especially, most importantly, Ellie Jelly, I absolutely encourage you know, modifications and stuff if you feel like there could be something that be better, or you know, incorporate that. And since she has a park next to it, I know she was telling me she was going to work on improving that, just kind of adding some stuff to it. So we have all this grass and she's helping me clear it out, and I love the fir grass. It's just a really nice green, and we're going to plant some trees here in a bit too. Love trees, love the trees in Dinkum. The street lamps, they have such a really good amount of lighting. Now just kind of going and clearing out all this grass. A magic barrel appears. Got this street lamp, and my pockets are full. Yay! All right, cool. We're good. Drink some coffee, put down some grass. Woo! Look at me go. Lots of spot checking. There are a lot of things you can do after 11:59 p.m. in the game without expending too much energy, but also I'm just like, I wanna really finish this. Gotta make sure these lily pillies are aligned. They have such a nice curated look. What I mean by that is, like, it looks like they've been maintained by a landscaper since they have a shape to them. Part of me thinks that the trees, there's some builds where I like the trees to have that little dirt patch around them. That's kind of how trees grow in. You know, there's not too much grass that grows up beneath them. But in this case, I went ahead and I filled in the grass around them. Now, when you're putting down grass, if you don't mow it, you're gonna have some natural things come in. So it's a new day, and let's go check it out. I really loved doing this build. I wanted to incorporate a lot of the elements from her dam build that's just over the way. The lighting that we get right early in the morning, the long shadows and everything, really just kind of bring this out. So you can see, you know, we just have the fire from the stone lanterns. We have the staggered water beds that are flowing all the way around. We have the green mossy brick and the mushroom path that's just kind of brings everything out. The white cobblestone is just contrast against all of that, and it looks strong but also peaceful at the same time. There's Ellie Jelly just scoping it out, looking cute as always. And I love using the tripod to just kind of really take a build in. So you can kind of see clouds, the sun, the trees. You have the cement pathing, the stone, everything. It just looks like this thing could survive a hurricane. So what do y'all think? I want to know in the comments, like, what was your favorite part? How would you do it differently? And if you would like a helipad on your island. I'm a fan to commit, and everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.